A trader doesn't blow up because of bad trades. A trader blows up because of bad sizing. That's the truth no one wants to admit. Not beginners. Not veterans. Not even professionals who've been humbled 100 times. We don't blow up because our ideas were wrong. We blow up because our size was wrong, because our ego sized the trade, not our discipline. Because we confused confidence with invincibility, probability with certainty, a good setup with a guaranteed outcome. And Jesse Livermore, the man who built and lost more fortunes than most traders will ever dream of, understood that the only real protection in speculation wasn't charts, wasn't predictions, wasn't even timing, it was position sizing. The quiet, unglamorous, brutally honest discipline of deciding how much to put on the line and how much of yourself you're willing to risk. This is the part of trading most people skip. The part everyone thinks they already understand. The part that separates a temporary setback from a catastrophic collapse. Livermore used to say, "Speculation is a dangerous game, but the man who knows how much to risk never fears losing." And that single insight, that razor-sharp psychological truth, is what saved him from disaster again and again. Not luck, not genius, not the perfect trade, but the formula, the mindset, behind how he sized his positions. So in this film, I want to take you into the heart of the formula that protected Livermore when markets turned violent, when trends reversed, when news blindsided the crowd, when emotion could have ruined everything. And before we even begin, I want you to ask yourself something, honestly, quietly. When I size a position, am I sizing the trade? Or am I sizing my ego? Comment your truth below. Because this film won't just reveal a formula, it will reveal the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. This documentary-style journey begins where all great trading stories begin. The quiet moment before the order is placed. The moment when your entire focus narrows to a single choice. How much? Not when, not why. Not what direction, but how much. Because Livermore learned the hard way that the market can hurt you in only two ways. When you're wrong with size, and when you're right with too much size, both destroy careers. Both destroy futures. Both destroy traders. He discovered that every position carries two outcomes, the known risk of being wrong and the invisible risk of being too right too quickly, letting excitement replace logic, letting overconfidence replace structure. Position sizing wasn't just a technique for Livermore, it was his shield. It was emotional protection. It was strategic defense. It was the difference between surviving a storm and becoming a headline in tomorrow's financial obituary. And as we move deeper into this film, you'll begin to see the paradox that destroys most traders. We size the trade based on how it feels, not based on what it deserves. Livermore refused to do that. He treated sizing as sacred, as the one part of trading where emotion had zero permission. So let's enter the next section. The inner conflict every trader faces the moment sizing becomes a negotiation between fear and confidence. The moment you decide how much to risk, your emotions start negotiating with your logic. This is the inner conflict, the silent war. The paradox that tears traders apart long before the market ever does. Because position sizing is not just mathematics, it's psychology. It's identity. It's a mirror reflecting your deepest fears and your most dangerous ambitions. Let me take you into the moment where this conflict begins. You've spotted the setup. Your analysis feels sharp, your conviction feels strong, your timing seems perfect. Your mind whispers, "This could be the one." And that whisper, that small spark of excitement, is the first step into the trap. Because now, sizing isn't a calculation, it's a negotiation. One voice inside you says, "Stay disciplined. Keep the risk small. Don't overcommit." Another voice counters, "Come on, be bold. You know this setup. Size up, make it count." Hope leans in. Confidence leans in. Desire leans in. Your future self, the one imagining the victory, and leans in, and none of those voices care about survival. Livermore knew this conflict well. He battled it before every major trade, not because he was weak, but because he was human. He wrote, "The biggest mistake in speculation is risking too much on an unproven idea. But here's the paradox. The idea always feels proven when you're excited. When you want the trade to work. When you've been waiting all week for this moment. When you're tired of missing moves. When the market finally aligns with your vision, that's when your emotions hijack your sizing. That's when traders make the same disastrous mistake. They size based on how much they want to make, not based on how much they can afford to lose. It's subtle. It's seductive. It's lethal. But here's the deeper psychological truth Livermore discovered. A truth that explains why position sizing destroys traders more than bad entries ever will. Your mind exaggerates both risk and reward right at the moment of decision. Before entering, your fear magnifies the danger. After entering, your excitement magnifies the opportunity. Both distort reality. Both corrupt sizing. Both are illusions created by your emotional state, not by the market. This is the paradox. The moment sizing matters most is the moment you're least capable of sizing correctly. Livermore saw this in the bucket shops. He saw it on Wall Street. He saw it in himself. He learned that the internal conflict isn't between bullish and bearish thinking. It's between emotional and rational thinking. The fear of loss pushes you towards small size, even when a bigger position would be justified. The hunger for victory pushes you toward big size, even when the trade deserves almost nothing. And that brings us to the psychological center of this paradox. Your emotions don't want a good trade, they want a big trade. They want the story. They want the validation. They want the feeling of being right in size, not just right in direction. But Livermore refused to size based on feeling. He sized based on evidence, based on proof, based on the true stage of the trade's evolution, not the imagined version inside his head. He once said something that every trader should tattoo on their mind. Risk little until the market proves you right. Risk more only when the market proves you deserve it. That line captures the entire conflict. It destroys the illusion of early confidence. It exposes the flaw of premature aggression. It reminds you that sizing is earned, not assumed. And now, as we transition into the next stage, we step into the deeper trap. The psychological flaw that magnifies losses, destroys accounts, and blinds traders who believe they're being bold, when in reality they're being reckless. Before we go there, answer this honestly in the comments. Do you size based on the setup, or based on the outcome you hope for? The market doesn't choose your downfall. Your sizing does. This is the core problem. The psychological trap that Jesse Livermore watched destroy traders again and again. And it's not fear. It's not greed. It's not lack of knowledge or lack of skill. It's overcommitment. Emotional overcommitment disguised as strategic confidence. A trader sees a setup. They feel conviction. They want the win badly, as maybe too badly. And suddenly, without realizing it, they size the position to fit their emotional need. Not the reality of the market. It feels brave. It feels assertive. It feels like stepping into your destiny. But here's the trap Livermore understood. A big position amplifies every emotion, and amplified emotion destroys judgment. Once you go big, the game changes. You don't see candles, you see threats. You don't see pullbacks, you see danger. You don't see opportunity, you see potential disaster. The trade stops being a trade. It becomes a referendum on your identity, your worth, your intelligence, your ability to win, and the worst part? The moment you oversize, you lose control of the outcome, long before the market moves. Livermore wrote about this psychological shift many times. He said that a trader's real mistakes begin not at the entry, but at the commitment level, because once you size too large, fear becomes magnified, hesitation becomes paralyzing, judgment becomes distorted, every tick feels like a personal insult, every pullback feels catastrophic, every random fluctuation feels targeted, and that's when traders make the most devastating decisions, cutting winners early, holding losers too long, adding to losing trades, exiting winners before they mature, jumping between setups in panic, revenge sizing, all because they violated Livermore's golden rule. No man can see clearly when the size is too large. Let that sink in. Clarity collapses under emotional weight. This is the core problem. Not bad setups, not bad timing, not bad analysis, but bad emotional leverage caused by bad sizing. There's another layer to this trap, a darker one. When a trader oversizes and the trade goes against them, even slightly, they don't just lose money. They lose confidence. They lose discipline. They lose the ability to stay objective. Psychologists call it cognitive narrowing, Your brain literally loses the ability to process information accurately when you're under threat. Livermore described it in simpler terms. A big position will make a man see ghosts in the tape. You start imagining the market is out to get you. You start believing manipulation is targeting you. You believe the pullback is unjustified. The volatility is unfair. The timing is cursed, but the truth is brutal. It's not the market hurting you. It's your size hurting you. Here's the paradoxical twist. When your position is too large, you become too emotional to exit. And too emotional to hold. You're stuck, frozen, torn between two equally painful options. Livermore saw this trap swallow entire trading careers. He watched brilliant men, analysts, speculators, mathematicians, fall victim to the same flaw. They traded with their vision, but sized with their ego. An ego is a terrible risk manager. It wants more of everything. More excitement, more reward, more validation, more proof that you're right. Ego doesn't care about survival. Discipline does, so what did Livermore do? How did he protect himself? How did he size positions without falling into the trap? He developed a method, a formula, a mindset so powerful, so psychologically grounded, that it became the shield that saved him from disaster again and again. A formula based not on ambition, but on confirmation. A formula built to neutralize emotion and amplify clarity. And that brings us to the turning point of this film, the moment we step into Livermore's strategic world, where position sizing becomes not an emotional gamble, but a protective weapon forged in discipline. Before we go there, answer this in the comments. Have you ever sized too big and instantly felt the emotional weight of it, even before the trade moved? Your honesty will make the next section hit even deeper. Position sizing isn't about bravery. It's about survival. Jesse Livermore. Now we step into Livermore's mind, the place where emotion is stripped away and only method remains. Livermore didn't survive the market because he was lucky. He survived because he built rules that protected him from himself. At the center of these rules was one idea so simple, so logical, so brutally consistent that it became his shield against disaster. Risk small until the market proves you right. Not assume. Not predict. Not hope. Prove. The market must prove the trade is worthy before he increased size. This is where most traders fail. They go big at the beginning, when uncertainty is highest, when confirmation is lowest, when the trade has earned nothing. Livermore reversed this completely. He understood the emotional flaw of premature size, so he developed a strategic antidote. The probe and prove method. It worked like this. Enter small, a probe trade just enough size to test the idea. Not enough to feel emotional pressure. Not enough to distort objectivity. He wanted to feel the market without becoming attached to the outcome. Wait for the market to confirm. He needed evidence, rising volume, shallow pullbacks, strength after weakness, weakness after strength, clean direction, orderly behavior. Only then did he say, this is real. This is worth more size. 3. Increase size. Only on strength Livermore pyramided in one direction, with the trend, never against it. Adding size to a losing position was financial suicide. Adding size to a winning one was strategic reinforcement. He sized after the market earned it, never before. Cap maximum. Exposure. Livermore never committed his entire capital to one idea, even when he felt certain, even when the setup was perfect. Even when he was already winning, he believed, no trade deserves the power to ruin me. That single belief protected him more than any analysis ever could. But here's what made Livermore's formula revolutionary. His sizing was dynamic, not static. Most traders decide position size once, then pray. Livermore sized continuously, in phases in harmony with the evolving behavior of price. If the market acted right, he added. If it acted wrong, he reduced or exited or stopped adding. There was no stubbornness, no ego, no emotional attachment. The market's behavior dictated the size, not his feelings, not his predictions. His philosophy was simple. The market pays you to be right, so let the market show you when you're right. That's why he refused to go big early. Because early is when your opinion is most vulnerable, your emotions are loudest, and your clarity is lowest. He knew every trade starts in darkness, and only price behavior brings light. Here's the deeper psychological wisdom behind Livermore's method. Small size keeps your mind analytical. Large size makes your mind emotional. So he used small size as a psychological stabilizer, a way to stay objective, a way to maintain clarity, a way to avoid the mental fog that destroys traders. He sized in a way that allowed him to think clearly, observe honestly, wait patiently, act decisively, survive consistently, and survival was everything. Because as Livermore often reminded himself, a trader's first job is to live to trade tomorrow, not to swing for the fences, not to impress others, not to chase the move, not to force the win, but to survive long enough for the big opportunities to show themselves. And when they did, when the rare, clean, powerful trends revealed themselves, that's when he increased size with confidence because the market had earned his respect. Now, as we approach the final section, we shift from philosophy to cinematic conclusion, the emotional closing message, the final psychological takeaway, and the comment hook that binds this entire story together. But before we go there, comment below. Do you enter small and size up? Or do you size big from the start? Your answer reveals the trader you are and the trader you want to become. In the end, a trader isn't defined by the trades he makes, but by the damage he refuses to take. As we reach the final chapter of this film, I want to bring everything together, not as a strategy, not as a technique, but as a transformation in the way you see risk, the way you see yourself, and the way you step into every future trade. Because Livermore's position sizing formula wasn't just a method, it was a mindset, a psychological shield, a disciplined belief system built not for excitement, but for survival. Most traders spend their lives trying to master entries, trying to perfect timing, trying to predict outcomes. But the ones who last, the ones who evolve, who adapt, who grow into real speculators, they master something far more essential, the weight of their own exposure. They understand that the market doesn't kill the undisciplined instantly. It bleeds them slowly, through oversized trades, through emotional decisions, through confidence that grows faster than skill, through leverage that grows faster than clarity. Livermore survived because he understood one truth: the market can only hurt you as much as you allow it to. Your size is your shield. Your size is your boundary. Your size is your vote for survival, and if you size intelligently, if you let the market earn your confidence instead of assuming you deserve it, then suddenly trading becomes something different. Something calmer, something clearer, something sustainable. Let me speak directly to you, trader to trader. Think about all the trades that kept you up at night, the ones that shook your confidence, the ones that made your heart race and your palms sweat, the ones you couldn't walk away from because the size was too big to ignore or to admit or to accept. Now imagine those trades with half the size, or a quarter of the size, or sized so rationally that the market's movement couldn't shake you off your center. Suddenly the fear fades, the panic fades, the emotional distortion fades. Your vision clears. That's what Livermore protected. Not his capital, his clarity. He believed clarity was the real edge. Because clarity lets you act without panic. Clarify lets you stay objective. Clarity lets you sit tight when the trend is real and exit clean. When the character changes, clarity protects you from yourself, and sizing is what protects clarity. Livermore didn't want to be the fastest trader, or the smartest, or the boldest. He wanted to be the one who lasted, the one who stayed alive long enough for the big moves, the rare, world-changing trends, to reveal themselves. And that's what this formula gives you: time, survival, a future. Because the truth is simple: if you size too big, you won't be around long enough to catch the big move. If you size correctly, you won't need many big moves at all. And so, as we close this film, I want to leave you with one final question. The question that separates reckless traders from disciplined ones. When you click buy or sell, are you risking what feels right or what protects your future? Comment your answer below. Your honesty may be the turning point in your trading life.